One of Donald Trump's first orders of business when he returned to the White House was to sign an executive order demanding that all federal employees immediately stop working from home, get your butts back into those offices, because as he told us on February 11th, most of these people are actually out just playing tennis or golf. Now, there was no evidence to suggest that at all, but he said it, and he said it, with conviction. So a lot of, conservatives out there just blindly accepted that this was the truth. Here's what Trump said. I happen to be a believer that you have to go to work. I don't think you can work from home. Nobody's going to work from home. They're going to be going out. They're going to play tennis. They're going to play golf. They're going to do a lot of things. They're not working. So federal workers were ordered back into the office. And since about 48% of federal workers at the time were remote workers, what they returned to was finding out that there were no more desks. The desks had been gotten rid of. There were no computers. There weren't even chairs for them to sit in. And some of them actually returned to their old office buildings only to find out that the government sold them. So they literally didn't even have an office to go back to. But nevertheless, they had to keep showing up somewhere or else Trump was going to fire them. That was part of the executive order. And now those same federal workers that, of course, have been ordered to go back, even though there was no decline in productivity, studies actually show that working from home increases productivity and increases quality of life. But those same federal workers who were told if you work from home, you'll be fired, are now lashing out at Donald Trump because, as we all know, he loves to not go to work. He has now spent 6 out of 7 weekends as president at one of his own resorts. 5 of them at Mar-a-Lago, 1 of them at Doral in Miami. 6 out of 7 working remotely, right? Because he's still signing executive orders. He's still making proclamations. He's still launching a trade war and launching missile strikes in Yemen. But he's not doing it from his Oval Office. He's able to work remotely. One federal worker said, quote, "It's clear, and should be to the rest of Americans, that it's never about the rule. It's about who's making the rules. This all fits in so perfectly to the power dynamics installed by this administration, a dynamic where Trump does what he wants to who he wants without repercussions. The return to office mandate was never about effectiveness, collaboration, or cohesion. It was always about federal employees being traumatically affected," as Russell Vought put it, who of course was one of the co-authors of Project 2025. Donald Trump has now been golfing 15 separate times that we know of since taking office, at a cost of over $20 million to the American taxpayers. It hasn't even been 2 months, folks, and he has already spent $20 million golfing while telling us that these federal workers are out golfing. Like, that's the big irony. He could have picked any other thing that these people are out doing because he made it up anyway, but he picked golfing when he's the one that's literally out there golfing when he is supposed to be working. But as I've said, I have no problem with that. If him being on the golf course prevents him from signing executive orders or launching missile strikes in other countries, then I'm okay with it. But apparently that's not the case. So yeah, it seems to be a problem that he's still spending our taxpayer dollars and destroying the country and our reputation. But here's what a couple other federal workers said. "I personally work my ass off. I know everyone else is. I routinely work 50 to 60 hours a week. Who is going to do all this work when they're done with these cuts? Do people think that the public won't be affected?" Another said, "Everyone built their lives around these remote positions. My supervisor lives in Florida and was hired as a remote employee. She can't relocate. She can't come into the office. She doesn't even go here." So these people are screwed. And by extension, the federal government gets screwed. Because they can't do what Trump does. As per usual with Donald Trump, it's do as I say, not as I do. Thanks for watching, everybody. And if you're not already, please subscribe to the channel. We got fresh content every day for you. And if you want to follow us across social media, make sure you check out all of the social links that we have posted in the description of this video.